Good morning, Utah. Welcome to Countdown to College Game Day, presented by Dr. Pepper. You know why we are here. Last week, the Utes absolutely rolled over Colorado, and this week, they've got a top 25 matchup on their turf. Cincinnati is here to put their 7-game win streak on the line. We will talk about that matchup and everything else going down on this college football Saturday. Hello, gentlemen. I'm Christine Williamson, Lyles Jr., Harry Douglas. How are we feeling today, guys?
Feeling pretty dang good.
Feeling great. We all know it's the day after Halloween, but shout out to this crowd for showing up in their costumes. And
That's
I got to take a little trip over here.
Okay.
Because,
Who you got over there?
damn it, we got Batman in the crowd, man. Check out Batman right here.
Yes, sir.
This is the real Batman.
The real live
You're not going to
Batman.
let the Joker, you're not going to let Bane take over Utah. I love the costume, my man.
That's a great
so
costume. You know,
serious.
HD,
He's
we
so
got our own
serious.
fan section over here today, though.
Oh, do we?
We sure do. We do. Look
Where
at all
they
these
at?
signs.
Where they at?
In
Where they
fact,
at?
someone's over here for you, Christine.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at this. My boy Lane right here. Hey,
Shout out,
HD,
shout
mom's for
out.
HD. What you think?
Well, that's definitely a true story. Moms are for HD.
No, without a doubt. And of course, I've got
Harry
my own fan
Douglas.
club as well. You know,
Wow,
you know
he
what
gets
time it
free.
is.
I love that. I love that for us.
We're ready to
What a
go,
great
man. We
day.
love Utah, don't we?
Yeah, it's great. It's great out here.
Yes, we do.
And it definitely feels like the college football season. It's nice and nippy in the air. We love it. Okay, so
We
we'd
love
like to start every single show with something that we call 3 big things. They're things that we're looking forward to in this college football matchup, maybe something else going down this Saturday. I will start with number 1. Utah, as I mentioned, coming off a historic beatdown of Colorado last week. They were up 43-0 at halftime. They held Colorado to negative 18 yards of total offense in the first half alone, and they did it all with a backup freshman quarterback making his first start.
We call that BTA.
And number 2, speaking of backup quarterbacks, Bird Flickens did a great job last week filling in, running the football effectively, scoring points all day long. This quarterback situation is something I definitely have my eye on, Christine, but Devin Dampier, he's supposed to play today. Either way it go, whether it's the starter quarterback, backup quarterback, I believe Utah's going to be all right.
It definitely looks good for Utah HD. And then number 3, Evan Pryor, running back for Cincinnati. He's going to be out on this one. Tawee Walker is going to be getting the bulk of the carries. But either way, I think they're going to have some trouble against this Utah defense, right? They're going to have some trouble.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about this matchup. At 10:15 Eastern, a late night matchup between Cincinnati and Utah. HD, we talked about what happened last week against Colorado. Where does Utah, their success start?
Well, it all starts with their head coach, Kyle Whittingham, and what he preaches. It's all about the trenches, the physicality. So when you look at that offensive line, they have 2 guys, once in Spencer Fano, and then the other one in Caleb had to get his name right.
Yeah.
Both of those guys are going to be top first-round draft picks in the NFL draft in 2026. Both of those guys are on Mel Kiper's big board as well. So it's all about that run game. They're 5th in the nation right now rushing the football. When you're looking at those running backs, they have a 2-headed monster. Both quarterbacks can rush the football effectively as well. So it all starts in the trenches with Utah, offensively, defensively, and we all know on special teams as well.
And when it starts in the trenches and you got a home field advantage like this,
Yeah.
that's a pretty damn good recipe for success.
HD mentioned their quarterback. He's a dual threat guy. Where does his success come from?
It's from the versatility. I mean, obviously, the way that they've scripted this with Devin Dampier and Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator, Utah is using a recipe that I think you're going to see a lot of teams in college football start to use, a transfer quarterback and bring his offensive coordinator with him, because this Utah team has always been successful, always had a tough defense. The injuries at the quarterback position have plagued them over the last few years. That has not been as much of an issue this year. His versatility on and off script, to me, is where Utah has success. And then, of course, his defense never allows them to get behind the chains.
Well, let me tell you about that defense of Utah. They're going to have their hands full today with Brendan Swornsby, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bearcats. You're talking about one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Over 1,800 yards passing, 20 touchdowns to just 1 interception. When you have the ability to take care of the football, in which a lot of the top teams in the country actually do, you're going to win frequently. And that's why the Cincinnati Bearcats right now, they're ranked where they are, and they also have had so much success this season. But also, it's not just his arm. He can make all the throws, different arm angles, but it's his legs that you have to account for if you're the Utah defense. 7 rushing touchdowns right now in college football.
I want to ask you another question about the defenses specifically. These 2 teams rank 2nd and 3rd in the Big 12 in points per game. So who do you think has the advantage in making stops tonight?
I'm going with the Utah Utes, and it's because defensive end, John Henry Daly, who has 9.5 sacks right now. The Utah Utes as a team, 25 sacks overall. top 12 in the country right now and doing so as well. They're going to have their hands full, but I believe in this Utah defense that they can get the job done tonight.
Yeah, also, Christine, the other thing that I think you have to take into account, this team is coming from east. They're not used to this altitude. The time changes different from them. This is a late game for that Cincinnati team. So, look, I think Utah is going to be more than a handful tonight.
All right, we can't wait for it. As I mentioned, that one at 10:15 Eastern. Also, HD, I don't know if you saw, there's also Spider-Man in the crowd. There's Batman and Spider-Man.
Where's Spider-Man?
Over here.
I see a penguin.
We saw him a little bit. Oh, he's behind. He's over there. He's over there.
I see you, Spider-Man.
He's a little short. You can't see him that well. Okay, so this.
Somebody give him a box to stand on.
You get to stand on something, a little Apple box. Okay, so this game could have an impact on playoff implications. Obviously, it's November 1st, and the first CFP rankings come out on Tuesday. So let's take a look at the playoff picture as it stands this moment. 8 teams have a 69% or better chance to make the playoffs, according to the All-State Playoff Predictor. There are 12 more teams that have a 15% or better shot at making it. So let's take a look at some blind resumes. We're gonna
wait a second,
What?
Christine. Y'all don't like BYU being up there?
They probably hate it.
Y'all don't like BYU? What if Utah was up there? What about Utah? Yeah? Okay.
I think they're saying Buck.
Hug. They're saying hug
Right
the
there.
BYU.
Of course.
Whatever they're
hug.
saying,
They love them.
I love it.
Yeah, they're saying hug.
I love the pettiness.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at some blind resumes and pick who we'll think will take those places. There are 3 groups of 4. We're going to start with our first group. It's an SEC squad. 4 SEC teams on the graphic we just showed. Here are the next 4 according to the All-State Playoff Predictor. Which resume, looking at this, guys, do you pick from here?
It's got to be Team A, right?
Yeah, I'm going with Team A.
Yeah, it's got to be Team A.
It has to be Team A.
Yeah.
They're the only team up there on the list, too, with 1 loss. And their strength of record, 9th. Remaining strength of schedule, 9th as well. Record versus ranked teams, 1-1.
There's a gentleman in the crowd that does not like Team A.
That's Vandy. That's where we were last week.
And see, this is why we do the blind resumes, because a lot of people do a lot of logo watching and would not pick Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
otherwise.
I can see that. All right, let's take a look at the next group that we have. In that one, 4 resumes from non-SEC Power 4 conference teams. All right, let's look at it.
Let's have a look. All right, we got 8. No, we like undefeated.
I mean, do we?
Yes, but
I feel like there has to be a little trickery
what
here.
about Team C here?
Yeah, I'm going with Team C.
Let's go Team C. I like that 2-0 record versus ranked team.
Exactly, a 2-0 record.
All right, let's reveal it.
Team C.
Who is that?
Who do we got?
Texas Tech.
Oh, man.
I mean, you definitely.
I know where one of those ranked wins came from.
I'm mad that y'all didn't say Miami, but it's totally fine.
I'm sorry, crowd. The proof is in the pudding.
Okay, so you take Tech. All right.
Hey, it's a good win because it was you guys. You know, like it happens. You guys are still in it.
Yeah. Do you agree with that after you see that it's Tech, though?
Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah,
Okay.
100%. I know, listen, we do this thing, you know, we don't love Big 12 teams sometimes, but that, to me, that Texas Tech team, that win against this Utah team, in this building, it's a damn good win.
Okay, so finally, here are a group of 5 teams still in the contention for the automatic spot. Let's take a look.
Let's have a look. All right.
Which
Team
resume?
A, 8-0. No games against ranked teams. I know who Team B is, I think.
Yeah,
this is group of 5. Team B's got to be South Florida.
Right,
I have to go with Team A.
Just because they're 8-0.
Yeah, let's see who A is. I mean, we're gonna see who all of them are.
Kirk Herbstreit to the stage.
Navy.
Shipman of Navy.
Now,
Do you agree with that now?
Here's the thing about Navy.
Yeah.
They play Notre Dame soon.
They do.
So that's another quality opponent that they're going to be able to play to up their resume as well and make a case that they deserve to be in the college football playoffs.
I mean, and they look.
When it's all said and done.
I actually have Navy at Memphis Thanksgiving night. There is a chance that those two could be playing for a spot in the American Championship. South Florida, they've obviously got some work to do now as well. They actually are going to have a tough one against UTSA next week that I also will be calling. American is playing some damn good football this year, man.
And they're putting up points,
and I mean, even people are sleeping on East Carolina. They've only got 1 loss in that conference. Like that is some tough ball.
Yeah, we haven't been talking about them enough. Okay, so all 4 of those teams that we saw in the group of SEC teams are playing each other today, which makes those 2 games all possible playoff elimination games. So let's dive a little bit more into those. Starting with Vandy, where we were last weekend. They're on the road for their 4th straight game against the ranked team, this time at number 20 Texas. The Commodores scraped past Missouri last week while the Longhorns needed a miraculous comeback to beat Mississippi State. Arch Manning's hit the week in concussion protocol, but has been cleared to play today. So, HD, do you think he's turned a corner and looking a lot better out there?
He has, but I also want to give a lot of credit to Steve Sarkisian and kind of thumbing the offensive system back a little bit.
Yeah.
We know he loves the explosive plays, throwing the football down the field. What he has done of late, the last few games, is allowing Arch Manning to, hey, let me get these short pass patterns, intermediate, and then when the home runs are there, we're going to take them and we're going to dial them up. Starting the season off, even versus Ohio State, they tried to go deep, long, and then tried to go short. No, sometimes you got to crawl before you walk.
That's right.
Throw these intermediate routes, have these receivers win one-on-one, understand what the voids are in the zone, and then Arch Manning has done a great job, in my opinion. You look at last week versus Mississippi State, over 300 yards passing, and that wonderful comeback, but this is a big game today versus Vandy.
The interesting thing about this matchup to me, and we kind of saw this between Vanderbilt and Missouri last week when we were out there in Nashville, both of those teams, the interesting part about that matchup was that they played both similar style in that we are going to control the time of possession. We're not going to turn the football over. We're going to play tough defense. That is exactly the type of recipe that you're going to need in order to beat Texas, whether or not Arch Manning is out there or not.
All right, so the last time the Commodores were on the road, they lost to Alabama. Lyles, what lessons do you think that they've learned since that Alabama loss?
To me, that's a game, HC, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a game where you just build up scars, man.
Yep.
Like, you really, like, this Vanderbilt team, we saw what they did last year. Obviously, they beat Alabama last year. I think this Alabama team this year is better. But when you're playing against a team like that, a lot of coaches will tell you sometimes the game gets a little bit too big for our guys. I don't necessarily know that that was that particular case, but in that game, they were turning their football over. They're making uncharacteristic mistakes. So I think having been on that stage, you sort of get used to that now. They're not going to see anything the rest of the year that they're not going to be accustomed to or that they're going to fear at this point because they've seen the worst that college football has to offer.
So I would also say another thing in this matchup that I'm actually looking forward to, we know the run game and the off-scripted plays by Diego Pavia, they could be at an all-time high. You look at that defensive Texas, a lot of athleticism, a lot of guys who are going to be drafted in the first round. You look at Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill Jr., Michael Taft in the secondary. Can that defense and that athleticism minimize Diego Pavia in the run game of the Vanderbilt Commodores today?
All right, let's talk a little bit more about what we think is going to happen in this matchup. Number 9, Vandy at number 20, Texas. Who's taking this one, guys?
I'm going to go Vanderbilt. I really do, like, I think that they probably do have one more loss in them. I just don't think it's going to be this afternoon.
Okay.
I really do think that what they've put together, and to me, there's one thing to be a gritty team and have the grittiest player in college football, which I all think we would agree is Diego Pavia. And there's another thing to actually be skilled and be cohesive and have a formula that is a winning formula. So I don't think that this Texas team is going to have enough today against them. And again, I still need to see more than one good game out of Arch Manning. I like what we saw from the last game. Obviously, he's not going to play if he's not ready with that concussion, but I'm going to go with Vanderbilt.
For me, I'm going with the Commodores as well. There's something about a player that has a chip on his shoulder in Diego Pavia. He said he's sick and tired of hearing about Arch Manning and what he can do for college football
and everybody else.
What he means in Texas. And a lot of people had him ranked as the last quarterback in the SEC. Diego Pavia feels some type of way. I like underdogs. I'm going with the Doors.
Yeah, he's definitely willed that team to where they are right now. That game, by the way, noon Eastern on ABC. Let's talk about another matchup happening in the SEC. The last ranked versus ranked battle today. Oklahoma travels to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. The Vols recovered from their loss to Bama by racing past Kentucky, while Oklahoma took a hit last week at home to Ole Miss. The Sooners boast one of the nation's top ranked defenses. HD, did Ole Miss expose some weaknesses?
1,000% they did, Christine. And when you look at Ole Miss and what they did to Oklahoma last week, it was all about the tempo, right? When you have a ferocious pass rush, one way to minimize that is to go fast, have quality plays. But also what stood out to me was the amount of explosive plays that Oklahoma allowed. 11.
Yes.
That was 10 run plays that were 10 yards or more, or pass plays that are 20 yards or more. Ole Miss had 11 of them. When I look at this Tennessee Volunteer football team, they have 3 receivers right now with over 500 yards receiving in college football. They're the only team that actually has that. And when you also look at how Joey Aguilar, what he's meant to this offense, I would say, under Josh Heupel, he's throwing the deep ball very, very well. So those explosive plays for Tennessee, I don't think there's a team in the country that dials them up and has more than they actually do. So can Oklahoma minimize those explosive plays, and then can Tennessee exploit what they've seen Ole Miss do to Oklahoma last week?
Yeah, absolutely. And HC, to me, when I look at this particular matchup, obviously Oklahoma has just not been the same. And dude, I remember so vividly you, me, and Cologne, shout out, boy, talking about John Mateer and whether or not he should have played in Dallas at the Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
I just feel like having him out there just set them back so far because he has not been the same player. They lost that game, and now, to me, it's going to be one of the reasons why they lose today, because he's still not right. And that's one of those things that, Tom Luganbill, who, he played quarterback at Georgia Tech, he was telling us that he had a similar injury, and it affects your ability to grip the football. And it's clearly his percentage has dropped, as you can see here on the screen, that it's just not going to be the same. And then when you're playing against this against this Tennessee defense, they haven't been as tough. They've had some injuries. Still good, though. And Joey Aguilar is the type of guy, yes, this Oklahoma defense is really good. When we had him at App State, he talked about being California cool, right? Even if they get him 1 or 2 times, he's going to be able to do enough to keep this Tennessee team up. And, of course, we can't forget that crowd in Knoxville.
Yeah, I think also when you look at John Mateer, he's pressing a little bit right now. He understands that his football team needs him at his best, but it's hard to go out there and give your best if you're not 1,000% healthy. And I want to see if we can get this on video, what I'm about to demonstrate right now, because they had a key 4th down play last week versus Ole Miss that I thought, was a terrible read by John Mateer. It was like 4th and 2 to 5, somewhere in that range. You had an outside go route down the field. You had a slot receiver that came here, ran a return route, and was wide open for John Mateer to get the football to and move the chains, and he tried to take the home run play. You can't be greedy. Never get tired of making deposits, putting money inside of the bank, whether it's $5, $10.
That's right.
But in that case, on 4th down, at the end of the game, when you need to go down and score, you don't need the home run play. You just need to convert that 4th down and keep the drive going.
And you know what's interesting to HC, though, about that? I feel like he probably feels like he has to be a little bit of Superman. Because we keep asking, where Jaden Knott's going to show up.
Right.
And about this Oklahoma run game, because he's been the run game.
Right.
So it's like it's all just on his shoulders. And so the fact that he can't get any relief, essentially, to me, Oklahoma has just completely set themselves up for failure.
And they can't turn the football over. You look at one of their wide receivers, Satania, he turned the ball over on a punt return.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Ole Miss, they go down, they capitalize on it, and get points off of it. So you have to protect the ball when your quarterback is not 100% and you feel that he's pressing a little bit. Protecting the football at all costs is a necessity.
100%.
Yeah, I'm sure he feels an immense amount of pressure coming back from that thumb injury. Okay, who do you have in this matchup winning this one?
I'm going Tennessee.
Me too.
Yeah, Tennessee for sure.
Okay.
Explosive plays. I don't think Oklahoma.
No.
All right, time more for Get More Game Day presented by Geico. So Utah has a little Polynesian tie. Jess Sims got to hang out with one of the offensive linemen on that team.
Every school has their pregame ritual routine, way to get hype, but yours is so special. What is the Utah Millie?
It's a war chant. Different Polynesian cultures that all have different ways of getting ready for battle, and Utah Millie is the Utah football way of getting ready for battle.
Take me back to the moment that you found out that you were going to be this year's leader of the Utah Millie.
So Coach Powell just pulled me into his office. I was like, hey, we think you're going to be the guy this year to lead the Utah Millie. Every year they have a team captain that's hopefully a Polynesian descent in Utah Millie. So fortunately, I was that guy.
Man, Logan is a leader, not only on the field but off the field, and he was a perfect candidate. When he came in as a freshman, he looked up to guys that led the Utah Millie, and he was ready when his name was called.
Brotherhood is such a huge thing for you. Your brother Spencer is on the team.
Yes.
How special is it to continue to play with your brother?
Man, it's a blessing. I think right now we have a hard time really appreciating how special it is. I know when we have our own families, and we talk about it in the future, it's going to be something special for us.
All right, can you break down the Utah Millie for me?
Yes, I can. So to start the Utah Millie, I'll walk up in the middle of the team. Utah Millie, Utah Millie. And when you rub your hands, you got to break down. So rubbing your hands. And pati and Samoani's to clap.
Okay.
And I'll go, Utah, Utah, Utah. The team will echo back.
My heart rate is like going up just even thinking about that on the field. Incredible. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I feel like we need some sort of cheer like that before our shows every day. It would be great. Okay, one SEC team, we talked about them earlier, that's not playing today is LSU. They're on a bye before their game against Alabama next week, which is good because the team can recover from firing their head coach, Brian Kelly, after a loss to Texas A&M last week. Kelly was just the latest among high-profile coaches being fired mid-season. There are 8 total Power 4 conference coach openings currently, including Penn State and Florida, after having none at this point last year. As we welcome in our third bald friend,
Steve.
Stanford Steve, to the show. How you doing, Steve?
Great. How are you guys doing?
As Lyles likes to say, how do you keep your dud warm when it's cold outside?
No wind is key.
Oh, that's so good.
And I know
wind is
people
key.
with hair, that's the first thing you feel. And the wind, because the first thing that gets cold is your ears.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got to protect the ears. The ears are huge, and when they're big like mine, it's even harder.
Yeah.
So no wind is key, so we're good.
So you feel good.
Not
Okay.
everyone has that issue, Steve.
Christine's got it right today. She's
Look,
got
I
the
got
hood.
the hood. Yeah, I got the
Right.
hood, so I can fix it if I need to. Okay, so Steve, why do you think there's so many firings at this point of the season this year?
I think it's just a lack of patience resulting from unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
And, you see every kind of approach. Like, we look at the teams that have struggled this year. We were at Penn State. What did they do? They tried and follow the Michigan and Ohio State path. They bring your own guys back, and let's piece together the portal. Returning production, Clemson, they fall by the wayside. LSU, they lose out on Underwood. They get all that money. They go spend it on defensive players. They can't win a game. So every different kind of way about going things has been used. But the other part is lack of realism. Like, you got to be real and have to deal with your team and the problems that you have in the locker room. Face it right there. And the way people ask is 12 teams. Now everybody expects to make the playoffs, and not everybody can. Well, so that's where it is these people just get so unrealistic with the expectations that it gets out of control as fast as you saw at Penn State.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, and I do agree with, you have to have some sense of patience.
Yeah.
Because, number one, when a coach is taking over a program, it takes time, number one, for him to be able to recruit his guys and get his guys in there, implement that system, develop that culture. And that's one of the things that we're seeing, at Vandy.
Yep.
That we've seen at Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri.
Yep.
These guys had time to be able to develop their culture, bring their players in, and we see the results of it.
Yeah.
What would you say to athletic directors and also team presidents about the word patience and how you need to give these coaches the opportunity to, do what they need to do to have success, in my opinion?
Yeah, I always listen to what Coach Saban has to say, and that first thing is getting alignment internally. So you look at LSU, whoever takes that head coaching job, they don't even know who their boss is going to be as far as an AD. That supposedly they're going to name a president on Tuesday. But you've got to get aligned internally where everybody knows what everybody's role is. Okay, we're going to be getting donations for this way, but we're going to take it, and this is what we're going to do. And this is what we're going to do. There's no everybody, come in after another pledge is made. So I think internal alignment and then dealing with those external expectations. That's what it comes down to. And you have to be aligned and have agreement and belief in that system, or else you're not going to have it. You're going to have people saying no against your certain beliefs that you agreed on earlier.
Well, to me, the most interesting thing is, and to me, this started, I would say 2 decades ago at least, with realignment. Because traditionally in college football, and this is why the bowl games were so great, if we're being realistic, okay, 136 teams playing college football, about 5 of y'all have a shot at a national championship actually based on the quality of your football team. Right? It used to be good enough, hey, we're going to the Orange Bowl. We're going to the Fiesta Bowl. We're going to the Sugar Bowl. Shoot, the Alamo Bowl. Whatever bowl game, because it just traditionally, with how regional the sport was, a national championship, frankly, was just not a realistic expectation for most programs, right? I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I think that was escalated, one, because of the playoff, because now there is a roadmap for you to make the playoff and contend for a national championship. But to me, the other thing, Steve, and I'm curious what you feel about this, I feel that was further accelerated this year by the calendar. Because if you are a new head coach going into a situation, it is about the portal. It is about when you start seeing these gears switch at other jobs, and now those guys are jumping in the portal, whether it's at Penn State, Florida, LSU, wherever. I'm curious how you feel that calendar affects not just how much we're seeing the firings, but then also, again, with like coaches wanting to take jobs like Lane now, who his team is probably going to make the playoff, and then do you jump off the wagon and take a job where you're going to be behind now?
Yeah, the calendar is going to affect the dominoes falling.
Yeah.
Right? Like it sounds like Virginia Tech's, trying to get it done quick, and then it feels like that may be a piece of the dominoes that gets this thing going. But this whole idea of going to the playoff and extending, how are you going to take a job when you're going to be coaching in January?
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. When you look at the landscape of college football and all the firings that we have and the open vacancies, who could still be on the hot seat, and what other schools do you think could have openings at their universities?
I look at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is a team that has the #1 strength of schedule left. I mean, you're still talking about, going to Tennessee tonight, having to go to Alabama. They have to play LSU. Like, it's a brutal way, and just the way they were and how hot it was at the beginning of the year with Mateer beating Michigan. We got this thing right. The money, they've spent plenty of money in the portal. I wonder what it'll feel like in the temperature, how hot it could get if they were to, say, not win again.
Can I also mention another team, just because I feel like he was very frustrated because there were some things that were leaked?
Texas, yeah.
In Texas. Obviously, there's been rumors that he could be looking elsewhere, but do you think that's because he feels like there's a hot seat in Texas?
No, I don't believe that. I mean, the guy went to the playoff the last 2 years.
Yep.
And I think with how that success, that fast-forwarded their roster, where guys went pro last year on that offensive line that they thought they were going to have for Arch.
Yeah.
So their roster management got affected by success. But I don't believe any of that. I mean, he's taking them to places they haven't been forever.
It will be interesting, though, because there always is one job that comes open that we do not expect to come open.
That's the other thing we haven't even mentioned is the NFL is going to have an effect on that.
That's true. That's true. So he could just not be in that seat because he chooses to go elsewhere.
As far as the
may
NFL,
or may
you
not
never
be
know.
true.
But I would also say this about Texas. They have a ranked Vandy this week.
Yep.
They still have the University of Georgia. And we all know the last game of the year who they have. Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah, they're not winning that one.
Yeah. Rough sledding moving forward. Okay, time now for Friendsville Advantage presented by Dr. Pepper. Let's just expand the coaching conversation a little bit. So, of the current openings, which is the better job? Penn State, Florida, or LSU?
I still say LSU.
Okay.
I know there's zero alignment right now when you look at what they have to we just talked about, but I still say you're the only show in town.
Yep.
True.
It's kind of like Ohio State. Ohio State has the Bengals and the Browns, but in Louisiana, LSU is as big, if not bigger than the Saints, and you don't have to go far recruits. Louisiana is flooded with recruits. You have plenty of donors. Money's not a problem. I still believe in LSU being the best job.
Yeah, I'm going LSU as well, baby. That's the way they talk down there in Louisiana. I would also say this. When you look at LSU and the history of their program, remember all those years that Alabama was winning a national championship?
Right.
If LSU would have had a quarterback all those years, the story might be different, folks. I'm telling you, when you talk about recruiting and guys that grow up in the state of Louisiana, they want to go to LSU, whether they're winning or not. Now it's all about the coach implementing a system and getting the best out of those guys and allowing them to grow as players and propelling them to potentially have a national championship. Because the last 3 coaches, they brought a national championship to LSU, baby.
Yeah. That's very true.
I'll go LSU, too. Look, and you even talk about the dysfunction, because I was thinking about this the other day. I would still take that.
Yeah.
Like, to me, LSU is one of probably the 3 best jobs in college football. I usually would say LSU, Ohio State, and Texas.
Agreed.
I think are the 3 that like, if you told me, hey, there's one job you could pick 3 that you might be able to. Georgia's up there as well. But I think those 3, because you also mentioned the fact that LSU, there's no competition in that state.
Yeah.
And then you're getting everybody else around. I think LSU, here's one I'll give you, though. I would take Penn State over Florida right now. I just think that
I can see that.
I just think the vibes are too bad at Florida right now. There's too much stench on that program. Georgia's too good. Some of the other teams that have come up, I'm telling you, I know your mom went to Florida, AC. I don't think I would want to be the coach after the next one. I would say that. I do not want to be the next guy at Florida.
Okay, the reason why I disagree, growing up a Florida fan, Steve, and just knowing that a lot of those kids, there are only 3 schools that those kids want to go to. Florida State, Miami, Florida. If you know how to recruit, and if you're great in that capacity, you're going to be right there in the thick of things if you have a good system with a coach and the culture is built the right way, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree. Because to your point about Penn State and Florida, if you get any kind of success, they are all in.
Oh, yeah.
They're starving.
Yeah.
Starving for success.
All right, we'll see what happens, and hopefully nobody else gets fired. Steve, anything else you want to say? I feel like I'm about to put my hoodie on because my head is getting a little cold. Good luck to me.
Good luck.
To us.
Yeah, everybody.
Thank you so much. That's so kind.
All right.
Christine is shocked by what wishes.
I was like, what am I doing? Thank you. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other games that are going down this college football Saturday. Starting with Virginia, off to their best start since 2007. Heads west to take on a tricky Cal team, Lyles.
Christine, this is a very tricky one. I talked about it earlier, the time change for a team. Virginia going out west. This California team has been tough this year. They run the football really well. The Cavaliers are going to have their hands full tonight, though, out there in Berkeley. I'm still going to take Virginia by a very slim margin. We've seen them come out in close games.
All right, let's stay in the ACC for the next one with the best team that everybody loves. Another conference championship contender. Miami leaves the state of Florida for the first time this season to take on SMU. Harry Douglas.
Now, when I look at this Miami team, they had that one loss in the University of Louisville. Shout out to you, Christine. But it's all about their pass game. They're going against one of the worst pass defenses in college football. Can you get the football to Malachi Tony? But also, don't sleep on SMU's quarterback, Kevin Jennings.
That's right.
The young man is very athletic, and he can play at a high level. Don't let him shell shock you, just like the Louisville Cards did a few weeks ago.
Anyways, moving on from the quarterback that I still have a love-hate relationship with. Two teams that we thought would be blockbusters at the start of the season. Georgia takes on Florida, who's playing their first game under their interim head coach. What do you feel, Lyles?
Christine, I think this is a trap game for Georgia.
Yes, it is.
This Florida defense, say what you want about that offense, this defense has kept them in essentially every single football game that they have played this year. This game is everything for them. This is basically their season right here. And we've seen how good teams have played under interim coaches. Florida's at least going to keep this one close.
Yeah.
Now, let me also say this. Coming off a bye week as well, Billy Napier got fired. The coaches let go. The coaches that are in that interim role, they want to prove that, hey, they can coach at a high level when the head man is not there. Those young men love those assistant coaches as well. So Dallas Wilson is back, receiver for the University of Florida. He's a guy that missed a lot of part of the earlier part of the year. Look for him to have a big game, too.
I feel like a lot of teams, too, they go into those games thinking, they don't even have a head coach, and then they let their guard down and then take L's. All right, let's talk about a matchup that we thought was going to be good at the beginning of the season, but ended up not so much on Penn State's side. It's Penn State taking on Ohio State. Their quarterback at Ohio State looks really good. What do you think about what he's been able to do this season?
Good, man. Good luck, Penn State. Good luck.
I know that's right.
I know I said teams will play good under interim coaches. I don't care who Penn State's throwing out there, man. It is not happening for Penn State today. I hope you don't end up clipping this because I think it is going to be a beatdown in Columbus.
I agree. I love Julian saying he's done a great job of playing point guard, throwing the ball to Carnell Tate and also Jeremiah Smith. The Buckeyes by 1 million.
Yeah, we're not even going to have – I mean, if we'd be shocked.
Go ahead, take Penn State, Christine.
No, I'm good. We don't have a graphic, so I don't need to do all that. But speaking of picking teams, let's pick for this game happening right here in Utah. Cincinnati, Utah. Who do you got, Harry Lyles?
Man, I'm going with Utah. I'm going with Utah. Defense, the crowd, one of the best student sections in the country, night game. They're not going to be – Cincinnati's going to have an issue playing not just at altitude, but at this time difference as well. We're going with the Utes.
HG?
I'm going with Utah as well. The great Mike Tyson said everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. The physicality of Utah. Yeah, Christine, you got to learn boxing.
That was so strange.
Shout out to Utah and the physicality that they play with in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line. Everybody has a plan until what, Lyles? You get punched in the mouth.
Am I undefeated this year in choosing teams?
There's no way.
I think I kind of am.
Yeah, I got a not quite from Bristol. Thank you.
I think I kind of am.
I got a hell no in my ear from Bristol.
Anyways, I got Utah as well. I usually choose the other team, but that's why I was saying it, because I'll do it on a game that it makes sense. This doesn't make sense for me. I'm picking Utah all the way. I do have the best record.
I didn't hear that.
Undefeated,
I didn't hear that. That's bad intel.
Get out of my ear, producer.
That's bad intel.
Yeah. It's good intel.
Get out of my ear.
Cut the show.
Show's over.
All right, it's going to be a good one late tonight. That one at 10:15 Eastern. Eastern, as I mentioned. Thank you very much. My head is
Cover
very
that
cold.
dud.
Let me see how good I look. Oh yeah.
I need a.
This is great.
I need
like
to
a
fix
jacket.
It's in the men's section. This is a man's
looking a
coat.
little-
You're welcome. I just gave you guys. The Countdown to College Game Day presented to Dr. Pepper. We'll see you guys next week.
That sign said